Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z,
And I'm Keith.
and we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. Litter, letter, ladder, butter. Bitter, batter, better, mother. I'm all stuffed up today, so never mind.
Yeah. I feel like duty. What?
Oh, okay. I thought it was still blinking.
No. I feel like shit caca. So I did a weed. So we'll see how long we get into the episode.
That's enough about me. Before you start getting fun.
Yeah. I was thinking about taking
Well, I don't have either of those except diarrhea, so.
Give me my pill. I thought about taking a gummy for the movie last night because I was a little bit worried I wouldn't. And I know for some reason when I take a gummy, or not a gummy, it's just when I do any sort of weed
Edible?
Yeah. I just get really engrossed in whatever I'm watching. And I'll just sit and I'll be like,
right.
and I was like, maybe,
Totally absorbed.
but yeah, totally are they gonna be okay? So, but I didn't. I was very impressed with it. It was crazy how not intricate, but it was pretty wild how much detail it had for being a TV miniseries in 1979. I was like, wow, this would have changed my life if I watched it on TV. I
barely have been aware of its existence.
I didn't really know that it existed. I didn't know because I told you that there was a Salem's Lot that came out in 2004,
right?
Which I want to rewatch because I'm like, I remember watching it and not understanding anything that was supposed to be going on and being like, what am I supposed to be getting from this? I felt like it didn't explain a lot of things. I remember the end. I think it ends. So in the trivia, it said that after the success of the miniseries, the 1979 miniseries, they were talking about making it into an actual series.
Yeah.
Because it was so widely popular. Right. And I think that's what they wanted to do with
the 04.
Yeah. So it ends in such a weird way of it felt like it didn't end. It just feels but I might have just not understood what was going on or anything. And I remember not liking it.
Even before reading that, which I only just read, but I kept making jokes about toward the last 30 minutes or whatever when they're on their war run, basically. Yeah. I'm like, kept making jokes about the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. But
because that's what I imagine the series would be. Just town
right.
to town.
Yeah. Avoiding. Yeah. Right. It would be terrible.
But okay.
But I remember I want to rewatch it because I'm like, was it as disjointed as I remember? Because I remember not knowing what was feeling like, are they supposed to be what's going on? Is it a disease? Is it I remember, I feel because you were like, oh, I want to watch Salem's Lot for Nosferatu November. And I was like, why? That's not a vampire movie. So
wow.
I'm like, what the fuck was? So I'm really interested to watch the O 04 and see if I just was stupid because I was 18 or 19 when it came out. So that would track. If I was just too dumb,
or it's just that bad,
or yeah. So I'm curious about that. But I do want to watch the new. Yeah, but I was not expecting to be as into it as I got, honestly. Especially with kind of how it I really want to read the book now, of course. That's always how it is for me. I'm
no desire.
I'm so terrible. Like most people will be like, oh, I want to read the book before I watch it. And I'm always like, oh man, it's going to be so hard. Like it's so hard. One of the reasons why
that's the only way. That's a guarantee of disappointment. If you do it the other way around, I feel like.
Well, right. But for me, one of the hardest things about reading is that I don't understand what people are saying.
Pardon?
Like, it'll be like the chair had 4 legs and one was in the opposite direction and it was facing the door and backwards. And I'm like, wait, the chair was backwards? But everything feels that way. Like, it'll be like this person had an angular nose and a round mouth. And I'm like, a round mouth? What is a round? Like, it's so hard for me to picture things that I just don't.
That sounds like autism.
It probably is, but I don't like
Don't think of a bird.
That's the hardest part for me is like understanding how, like, when they describe how characters look, I'm always like, I
never really pay attention to that unless it comes up again.
It's so funny because like there's all these like, if like a character is black, is like they make a film version of something and the character is made black or just dark skinned in any way or just not white.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be dark skinned. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe that they're ruining the character. And I'm like, that's so funny because it doesn't matter what the character says. Like if something came out and this character was black, I'd be like, see, that's how I imagined her. Or I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that character was supposed to be black. Would it be, I would just assume that I imagined it wrong. Like,
oh, I see.
Like, I would not be like, oh my God, the character is described in this specific way. I'd be like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So, like, I don't know. The only, like, if you describe.
King of the Hill. No, wait. It's King of the Hill, but what are they?
Is it the smoker?
Smoker?
Yeah, the one where Dale's going around smoking.
Oh, the bandit, the smoking bandit?
Smoking bandit, yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, it could be. I assume it's the Festival of Onions or whatever.
Oh,
or Dinner of Onions?
A Dinner of Onions.
But I think it's Buck Strickland.
Boy, that Cassie reminds me of someone. Hey, how big did you guys picture her tatas?
You said she was slender as a willow, so grapefruits?
Yeah. But for the episode of Bob's Burgers that we watched last night, where they have the guy that runs out on the bill.
Yeah.
And Linda's like, I can describe him. I know what he looks. She's like, he had 2 eyes and a nose. It was a little lower. And Teddy's like, that tracks. That sounds like it. But then they show his drawing.
Yeah.
And it just looks.
Well, and then he comes back with a hat on, and he's like, this looks nothing like my drawing. Can't be him.
That's exactly that's my brain. That's exactly how my brain is. It's like, I can't do it. So like, if I watch something, then I'm like, oh, it's going to be so much easier to like understand who the characters are supposed to be, their names, the descriptions of the places, like all this stuff. It's going to be so much easier. And I'm not going to have the huge difficulty of trying to figure out, like, especially when they have like characters with like similar names. And for my brain, a similar name could just be they're both women, like,
right.
Or like this guy's name is Larry, that guy's name is Terry, and I'm like, I don't know which one is which. I don't know. Like they both have a wife. I'm like, well, I don't know which one's which. Whatever. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna be able to pick up.
I feel like Stephen King does well, I don't know about a lot, but like there's so many characters in this.
Yeah.
And I mean, he really populates his little small towns with people, and they have history going back generations often,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that I think a lot of it is taken from, I would assume because of the continual themes of child murder and abuse and them happening in places where, that sound really similar to where he grew up. That he's like taking a lot of stuff from like his own lived experiences, and so it's probably easier for him to like draw on the mythos of like a small town because he grew up in one that's similar. But like I could never, like, this is a way where I'm like I don't even know how to make friends as an adult, so like when I write, I'm like, okay, well, everybody trips over each other when a murder happens, and that's how they become friends. Like, I don't know.
That's in fact how the murder happened.
Anyway, you're cooking rice, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay. So, Salem's Lot is a pretty. This is another reason though why I want to read the book, because I feel like there's always like. Like, the beginning is very confusing because the guy comes to town and wants to rent the Milton Berle house, and he's like,
the Virginia Madsen.
Yeah.
The Virginia mansion.
And he's like, he goes to the realtor and he's like, I want to.
Played by Fred Willard.
Yes! Baby Fred Willard.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
He can't remind me of oh God, I can't remember there's a character on WKRP who's like a slime bag kind of guy.
I joined a religion that lets you have 2 wives.
I don't want 2 wives.
Did you give me a lift home?
Herb, I don't go anywhere near your home, ever.
We could go to your home.
Fred Willard did?
No, well, yes.
Oh, okay.
Willard's character in Salem's Lot reminded me of that guy. Yeah. It really is just his suits, though. I mean, Willard's character is not really slimy, except that he's sleeping with somebody's wife. But
yeah,
I don't care.
Exactly right. It's I don't know, like it's very like the dude comes into town and he's like, I want to rent the mansion.
Right.
And they're like, it's already been rented, but you can rent this place. And so he rents a different place.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is like fine. That's fine. But then he like, they're like, oh, you're just a stranger from out of town. And he's like, I'm not so strange. And then it cuts to him in the park walking up to someone reading one of his books.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, they have a history. No, he's never met her before in his life. She's just reading his book. And he's just like, let's get to know each other. And she's like, yeah, well, that'd be nice. Played by Bonnie Bedelia.
Right.
The book, I mean, is played by Bonnie Bedelia. and like, they're just chatting. And they're in a relationship. Yeah. And I'm like, what is happening? I mean, granted, whenever that's usually how my relationships start. But like, I just walk up to a lady in a park and I'm like, hey, I write books too. Do you like
want a date?
Do you like fingering?
Everybody knows you two were up at the lake.
What? Also, when he said her dad says to him that they need to be more discreet. Mm-hmm. And he tells her that she doesn't need to worry about being discreet. I'm like, that's classic. Just trying to like fuck everyone over. Because it's like he's saying, like, he's telling the dude to basically like not be affectionate and telling her to be affectionate, which is going to make it feel like she's giving more than he is. You know what I mean? So
Wait, the dad told her to not worry about?
yeah, that's what she says when they're in the diner.
Really?
And yeah, she like kisses him and he's like, whoa, your dad said, you know, and she's like, he didn't say that to me. He told me to just go with my feelings.
My father asked you to be discreet.
Well, I didn't tell you that.
No, he did. And he told me to go ahead and show my feelings.
Yeah, well, the man contradicts himself.
Well, Dad's a New Englander. He's been taught one thing and feels another.
Classic conflict.
Right. New England.
New England, you say one thing and you feel another or something.
Right,
and I'm like,
right.
what? That's so weird. It was, but yeah, it's just, but then like the kid stuff. I mean, I was like, this is crazy. Like scratching the fucking window and the fucking glowing eyes. I was like, holy shit, this is so
I just love how
creepy.
much shit was shot backwards.
I know. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
played backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Don't come at me, guys. I'm so sick of it being harassed online when I get something wrong. Just kidding. No one cares. No one listens to this.
Except for our true
blues.
faithfuls. Yeah. Our faithful listeners. Our faithful subs.
Moots.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're not one of those 3 patrons,
Be our 4th.
yeah.
Oh man.
Salem's a lot more like Salem's a lot.
Did you read where it's Salem's? I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't catch that it's
Jerusalem's lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care.
Harlottown.
And Jerusalem's lot, wow. Where vampires make the kitties all go mean.
All right. I'll accept it. To be clear, we did watch the full televised version.
Yes, we
there
did
was
that.
a theatrical release
Yeah,
that
apparently.
was edited down like
Well, I thought they said that
112 minutes or
something like that. Like
that's wild.
I read something that said they shot different additional scenes
Yeah, that too.
to make, and I was like, that would make sense because they probably have things broken down, like to explain things, you know, as they happen. So if they just whittled it down, it would just not make any sense. So it makes sense if they like shot different scenes that could just go in for like, you know, here's where we explain this thing that we took 45 minutes.
That always works.
Harrison Ford loved that part of Blade Runner. That's one, it's so funny to me because like every now and like I will always enjoy watching a director's cut of something, but it's not usually so different, you know, like sometimes it'll have a couple extra scenes or something and you're like, okay, that's fine. But like Blade Runner is one of the only ones where the only one I like going in, I just saw the director's cut and I didn't know the theatrical cut existed until I'm pretty sure, I think I've said this before too. I don't know if I've said it on mic, but I'm pretty sure I was at Randall's house watching, and it was the first time I saw the theatrical version. And I was like, this is dog shit. And they were like, yeah.
I think I saw the director's cut first also.
Yeah.
Also, Donnie Darko.
Oh,
Whoops.
That's not, oh my God. The director's cut of that, I watched it and I was like, this just, no, I didn't like it. It was fine. Like the extra scenes being in there were fine, but they had all these like cutaways to like, to passages of the book. And it was just so weird and it felt like very disjointed from the rest of the book because I think the book happens in 1988 and it felt like a very like
there's a novel. Is that what you're
did
saying?
I say the book?
Yeah,
I'm stupid. No, the movie movie
is set in 1988.
Yes, it's set in 1988, but the sections of the book. That's why I was getting confused.
Yep.
Like it's a very like 90s graphics, you know, like 1996. We just got this new program from Apple that lets us, you know, make a text have a slightly moving background, you know. It just felt very reminiscent of that. So it felt like disjointed from the rest.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, I don't need to read these passages of the book. Like, if it's that important, like, put them in with the DVD, you know, like make a little booklet or something. That'd be cool. Right. But you can't because they're kind of writing a whole fucking book on physics and the nature of daylight or whatever. I said, sorry.
The thing, after watching we watched The Stand, we watched the televised version of It.
Yes.
Then we watched The Stand again.
We've watched The Langoliers.
Langoliers. That's shorter though, isn't it?
It's it's about like I don't know if it's shorter. It's like two.
I forget that was.
Probably,
I also forgot that was a miniseries.
It was a 2-parter. So it's probably like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that.
The thing that's difficult, you know, they're edited.
You and I differ in our opinions of what is good at what editing we.
Oh, that's fine.
No,
it means.
Well, like no, not what it means, but like what we consider like necessary. Like you'll be like, why are they showing this? And I'm like, I don't find a problem with this. You'll be like, who needs to see this? And I'm like, it's actually fine. It's just showing something, you know. And I'm always like, I don't mind it.
Well, it's not. That's not the kind of thing I was getting at with this.
Gotcha.
But I was going to say watching something that was produced as a miniseries to be aired on television with ads, breaks, over multiple nights or whatever. I know. So we're not watching it in the
manner in which it was meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The context in which it
was originally made.
And I know that the editing, you know, is going to be somewhat out of the hands of the director.
Yeah.
Especially for TV, I imagine. So, but the thing I find hard about watching a miniseries straight through, I mean, besides just the endurance factor, is that there's no 3-act structure, which is fine. I don't need it. I don't need a 3-act structure, but like there's no real peaks and valleys sometimes. You know, it's the pacing gets.
What I always find really confusing with with a miniseries is when like the first one ends on a cliffhanger or whatever, and then the second one starts not at the same pace. It like builds back up to it. And I'm like, no, we left off at a specific point, and I don't want to go back to the next day or whatever where everyone's having breakfast. I'm like, what the fuck is this? That's always where I'm like.
I mean, that's fine if we're getting a different perspective, but you know.
Oh yeah, but that's not
actually just replaying the same shit.
Or no, they just like don't pick right up where they left off. They kind of are like, so last night a thing happened, and I'm like, no, what? Why are we doing that? It was the very dramatic, like you know. But they're just starting from. Oh, you know what's a miniseries we have to watch?
Go on.
That Amy and Elizabeth.
I want to look up the first miniseries that I remember being aware of as a miniseries was called Lace.
Wow.
And, you know, it seemed very adult at the time when I was like 7, probably.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm sure it's awful.
Lily had fame, fortune, and power, but it wasn't enough. Hi, I'm Phoebe Cates, and I play Lily in an ABC special presentation of the sizzling bestseller Lace.
This is like the heyday of the miniseries. Like early
for sure,
80s.
yeah.
I feel like...
Storm of the Century.
Oh, okay. That one's good.
I like that one, yeah. I watched that one multiple times, but I will say mainly because of Tim Daly.
Yeah.
That man is so fucking fine. Oh, my God.
It's so funny because he's like the most conventionally milquetoast attractive person that you're hot for.
I know. Like Tim Daly's a one-off because oh my God, I've thought that man was fine since I was like 3. Like I'm like, good God. Like the first time, like Wings woke something up in me. I was probably like 5 when when
he
Wings
gave you
came
wings.
out. Yeah. And they're flapping, if you know what I mean.
Flapping.
So
Stephen King goes home.
Stephen Krim.
Stephen
Krim. Go home. His cat needed to be fed.
Oh, that's probably Pet Cemetery, huh? I was like, I can't figure out what. I'm like, what Stephen King book has a cat in it? Yeah, he wants to write about this house, which seems to be cursed. And, but nobody knows who he is until he...
Also, yeah, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, so you're not from here?" And I'm like, "This is the only thing that's kind of unbelievable because the only
It's a small ass town.
Yeah, it's a small ass town, and all these people have been here their whole lives, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're not from here, young man, old man, middle man, whatever he is." And he's like, actually, cut scene. And then the part that's so weird is that he went to school and just like walks in to a production that's happening, and he's like
Pre-Columbine.
He's like, "Hey boy, you remember me?" And I don't know. And
yeah, that's exactly right.
And his teacher was like, "Oh,
I've read your books."
Oh, no, he's just like, "Oh," and then he points, and then he points, and then he's like, "That's right, it's me, Stephen Krim." And so, and he said, "I read your book about the cat," and he says, "Which one?" The 2 boy cats. Remember, because
yeah, right. I'm like, is this supposed to be a meta thing where they're implying that Barlow and Straker are a couple?
Oh. Why? I mean, meta.
Why not?
I didn't mean why. I mean, like, how? Like, meta, I don't really understand.
Well, I just mean that.
Like, the book says it originally?
They reference. So, what you're referring to is that the characters talk about.
Yes.
Ben Means? Is that his name? Binyam Means? And by the way,
Stephen Krim.
Let's, not to make it political, but instead of Jerusalem's lot, I'm going to refer to it as Al-Quds lot.
Yes.
He has written a book, or is writing a book, or whatever. I mean, his previous book, is that what it is about, involves a gay couple that are, I forget if there's another dimension, like they're vampires or something. I don't think so. I don't think he seems to be a horror writer.
Right, yeah.
What's his book about?
Well, his latest one, it's about 2 men.
Not one of those.
So that's all.
Okay.
This writer has written a book.
Yes.
About 2 men who are together.
Okay.
That's all. That's my only evidence.
Okay. No, I'm
Look, we can just say okay back and forth. It's fine.
Are we not doing that? I'm confused.
And fucking the constable played by McMillan.
Played by Baron Harkonnen or whatever.
Yeah. That guy's great. And Jeffrey Lewis. The whatever he is, the what do you call him? I want to say Undertaker, but that's not it because he He just
Corner?
sleeps in the
Oh.
graveyard.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what groundskeeper or some shit. I have no idea.
Oh, I just want to find that one guy.
Which one guy?
Constable Jonstable. Kenneth McMillan.
Constable Jonstable.
That's a comedy Big Bang thing.
Oh. It's not funny then.
It's a reference to a character Christian Brune played.
Who?
On Christian Brune. He was in Ready or Not and Orphan Black.
Oh. I forgot.
All right. So, guy comes to town.
Yeah.
His wife is dead.
Yeah.
That's important for some reason.
It's important because we have to know, he has to have a tragic backstory.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to know this man has suffered with a dead wife.
And it's okay that he's just going up to women in the park.
Just walking up to them. Can I have dinner with your parents later tonight? Like, what the fuck? It was so weird because it was just like, it was so, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's some like small town white people shit that I'm unfamiliar with. But like.
First date seems pretty.
No, but being just like walking up to someone in a park and being like, you seem cool. Can I get to know you? But like, is that how straight people do shit?
Couldn't tell you.
So many men have walked up to me acting like that's a normal thing. And I just walk away from them.
Yeah, good.
Like one time a guy was at a stoplight or a stop sign and he got out of his car to come after me.
It's kind of a compliment, really.
I was like, what? And it was the same guy. I would see him on my way to work every single day, and he would get like more and more aggressive. He like opened his door one time, and then the next time he got out of his car and was chasing me, and I was just like,
Jesus,
terrifying. I'm only laughing because I'm a little bit stoned.
Oh, okay.
And also because you gotta laugh so you don't cry about
Gallows humor.
Yeah. It's funny to me, not because I'm like, haha, the stupid things men will do. But I'm like, how can you do that and think this is normal behavior? Like, how do you get out of your car and chase someone and think this is
going to end well?
We are going to have a great story to tell our grandkids. Yep. Like, just how? Like, it's fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
Anyway, that doesn't happen in Stephen Krim's Salem law. Not exactly. There's so much to tell in this if you want to tell everything because everybody has a little bit of a story. And I feel like I think that's one of the things that I'm kind of surprised by because it does a good job of like telling you a little bit of everybody's story without dragging on like a lot of later Stephen Krim miniseries would go.
Yeah.
They really, the pacing.
Yeah, the stuff they give you.
They for a 1979 TV movie, I was like, I'm really surprised at the pacing.
Yeah, it wasn't super painful, but it is not, movie pacing. That's all.
No. I wouldn't say that.
Well,
but I would say
I've seen worse pacing in 70s films.
For sure. That's mostly what I'm like. That's mostly what I'm basing
especially
things
like
on.
Independent horror movies or whatever, or like smaller budget things.
Yeah.
Directed by Toby Hooper, by the way.
Yeah, you said, what else has he done? You said last night.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
Poltergeist.
Oh.
Life Force, which was a candidate for this month.
Oh, it was?
That was the one I suggested. It's the one with Patrick Stewart has a little tiny role in it.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Space Vampires. I watched it. And I'm sure I wouldn't care as much now because I don't care about women. But I'll say this: I'm less performative in my feminism.
That's accurate.
No, my first watch through of Life Force, I thought it was fairly sexist in that it's this like naked space vampire lady going around draining
sucking
dudes.
the dicks off of every guy.
I remember thinking the effects were pretty great though.
Yeah.
You know, in the Jandry, no, what you said. You remember in the Jandry edits where it's like the episode with Picard, it's when Picard and Wesley get stranded or whatever with the drunk guy.
I don't remember the Jandry edit of that.
Where he's, when Picard's not doing good, and then it cuts to him and his head is like crushed and blood dripping out of it. That's from Life Force. There's another one where it cuts to him and Jeffrey.
Oh, that's right. Fucking Jeffrey, man.
Ooh.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I was concerned because there's so many characters, but they all have a role.
Yes.
I mean, I think this is also very Stephen King. Is you'll have somebody this long ass novel will start out with just some working class small dudes hanging out one night, or whatever. Yeah. They die by page 10.
Yeah.
But that event is like the event.
Yeah. For sure. He does love doing that.
That's why I remember reading the first 3 pages of The Stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the guys hanging out at the gas station or whatever.
I didn't get very far in that book.
Nor I. I have not got far in a book in...
Yeah, I know.
I've not got deep in them pages in quite a while.
Same. What?
Guys.
I got the Stephen Krim.
We may have gone out to sea too far.
No, I wasn't sure if you were saying something. So before
no, I'm done.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
You're welcome. All the best episodes happen when I do something that affects me and makes things more fun for me and more stressful for Keith. It's always...
Those are the best episodes in life.
You're welcome.
How about the scene where dude confronts Fred Willard with his goddamn shotgun?
That one was...
That was wild.
I keep remembering the part where he's like, I like your shorts. And he's like, thanks. He's like, you must like him because you haven't taken them off. Yeah.
Where'd you get them? Boston.
Turn around, Larry. Look, I know how this must look to you. I can understand how upset you are, but let me explain what happened.
Grab the barrel, Larry.
Huh?
Barrel. Grab the barrel. Easy. Very easy. That's it. Now, this shotgun's got a 5-pound pull on it, and I've got about 3 on it now. Good boy. Now hold it up in front of your face. That's it. Right in front.
It was very difficult to watch Fred Willard and not just assume everything is being performed,
I know. I don't want to say it's the only thing I've ever seen of his that's serious, but it's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I mean,
and
probably.
He's never. Oh God, he's so good in Best in Show, and he's so good in shit like that.
Yeah,
he's so funny. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the kids start dying or disappearing, and then dying of
the Glick boys.
Yeah. Jiminy and his brother Kimini.
Hermione.
One of them dies pernicious anemia, which I looked up and it's actually a thing. I was like, this has to be made up.
R.I.P. the child named pernicious anemia. It killed me how long the first vampire at the window scene goes on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the scratching on the window.
It's like...
It looks like he's writing something, almost. And I'm like, why is it only the one hand? It's so long.
It is, yeah.
I kind of felt bad for the final kid.
You can't?
I kind of
The one,
felt bad.
Wait, you mean like the kid
actor.
kid that survived?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you feel bad for him?
Because I hated every scene he was in. But I didn't feel like it was his fault.
The blonde one? The blonde one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Why
the
did
one
you
that looked
hate...
like me in 1979.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh.
Maybe that was it. Maybe I was a spook
Oh,
actor.
that's what it was. Okay. That makes sense. But I was like, why did you hate all the things he was in?
His weird little
God.
lip.
You're... God. When you sent those pictures to the group chat, I took screenshots so that I could zoom in.
You have access to the physical photo.
I don't want to go through your things, man. That's rude. I was just...
I don't feel like a photo album's that personal.
But like your little face, and you still make those faces, and you still put your hands
I have not matured.
all the way up on your breastplate to put them on your hips. It's so...
Let's just say I have a tall butt crack.
And it's one of those things where you're so cute. You know, I don't know. This is a thing that I've done since I was a child. Like, I remember one time I was looking at old photos of my mom and crying. I was like 4. And I was crying because I was like, I'll never meet this version of my mom. And I was just like, crying my eyes out. And I was very, very little. But I have that like, I'm like, oh my God, Keithy was a little baby and I never got to meet him.
Yeah. I remember being 12, and I think this is one of the times I discovered that erythromycin makes me hallucinate.
Oh, nice.
As a 12-year-old. I started thinking about my dog and how I didn't know him as a puppy.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Exactly. The other thing that happened was I started seeing blue whales in the shadows on my wall.
Okay, I was going through my things and I found... Okay.
The shadows weren't blue.
Okay.
I mean, the type of whale.
Was a blue whale. I see.
Great blue?
I found the prescription for the medication that made me hallucinate.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked it up.
Are you scared of cats?
Right. And it said low salt blood sodium, low blood sodium causes hallucinations.
With and that like medication or period?
Yeah. Like I don't know if like I don't know if that medication, and that was like considered like a serious side effect.
Uh-huh.
Like
right.
I don't know if it caused low sodium, which has signs of, it is indicated by these kinds of things, or if you have low sodium, it'll cause, I don't know which one but I was like, oh, so yeah. So,
you really did see a cat.
I know. Yeah. Well, that was what was crazy about it. This is the crazy part. When they first gave me the meds, I thought I thought I had like a rat or a mouse in the apartment. Mm-hmm. And when they upped my meds, it got bigger. And that's when I thought it was a cat. I'm not kidding. I was like, it's a cat.
It's a metaphor.
And yeah, I was like, that's so weird. Cause like I started out also I don't think it doesn't interact with the meds I'm on. Like the daily meds that I was on.
Okay.
I take them now, but I was on them at the time. They told me to stop taking them.
Okay.
But the medication interacts with that.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah.
You should not have been prescribed.
Exactly. Yes. So anyway, yeah, that was just something that I came across. But
so anyway, vampires in New England.
Yeah, I was like really impressed by like the vampire design. Apparently
Really?
that's not. Well, yeah, because I'm like, this is
You mean
not,
Barlow?
Yeah, I was like, well, all of them kind
Okay.
of. And how it was Barlow's vampire is different than everyone else's. That's like a very interesting thing that they don't necessarily explain, which I'm like, ooh, what does that mean? Right. And the fact that like just because someone I lost it already.
It's because they get bit. They don't turn into a...
No, that's cool too. No, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Truly, I was full on going somewhere. I don't even know if I had a thought formed. I was just talking.
Just going for it. Yeah.
I was like, oh, it'll come to me when it's time.
Yeah. Always a safe gambit.
Feeling good.
Yeah, I didn't hate the design. I thought it was really interesting that once they turn, their skin goes.
Yeah,
I've never
dirty.
seen that color before.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call it.
Dirty blue.
I guess. I mean, because Barlow is just straight up blue.
Yeah, I think I really liked that. Like it wasn't even like, like he bit someone and they looked a little different than him, and then they bit someone else and they looked a little different from them. It wasn't like a fanning out and getting, like sort of.
Yeah, like a progressive.
Yeah.
Or,
but it was interesting that like how his teeth looked, how he looked, like none of that was really how. And I'm like, no, I like that because that makes it more like you don't know what's going on, and it reminds me a lot of Midnight Mass, how it was like. I was remembering because people act like Midnight Mass was boring, and I'm like, literally,
What?
it's the most like bloody, violent, like
one of his.
Yeah, of any. I'm like, if you watch that, and you're like, this was boring. Wow, like,
Are you a child?
Yeah. Oh man.
It's also his most directly Stephen King. Well,
Yeah.
Not counting Dr. Sleep. But
right, not counting the direct Stephen Krim that he made.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically Salem's Lot, only better.
Yeah, no, for real. No, you're right. God, I want to watch it again.
I'm down.
Oh God, I haven't cried enough over just the still of Rahul Kohli on the beach.
Right.
He's slouched over. Oh my God, it's so that
Sharif.
Oh, God. And that bitch. She's so good at playing a bitch.
Samantha Sloyan.
Ugh. Oh, yeah. She's the daughter of the guy that made Odo.
Yep.
Refuse to change his form just to piss him off.
Yep.
Shit. Moya, Dr. Moya, something.
Moira.
Moira.
Mara?
Dr. Mara, something like that. Closing my eyes.
I think it's Mora.
Harder. Mora? More of that.
That's a Moray.
No, would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, but not like enthusiastically.
Right?
It was all right.
I would.
I think you liked it more than I did.
Here's the thing.
I didn't have any major complaints. It's just a lot to sit through for not much payoff.
I would just be like, watch something else. Watch Midnight Mass. I think it was interesting, but I enjoyed it. But like, if you're not into just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, this is not going to be a payoff.
Here's the highlights for me are David Soul's jeans.
Yeah, he was. He said
and-
he filled him out pretty good, but I didn't notice till later. He was just like them thighs are just packed in there. I was
in
like,
fact, his fashion, I like his outfits.
yeah, yeah.
Once upon a time, I would have dressed so
Oh
fine.
yeah, it reminded me of you a lot.
Thank you. And then the character actors.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Lewis. The more I see him in things, I mean, he was one of those character actors that was in every 80s television show that I watched as a child. So
Yeah.
and always memorable.
Yeah.
He really said, I don't know what he apparently. I was looking at his Wikipedia to see if he, went to any of the like notorious acting schools, but seemingly not.
Huh.
I mean, he did go to like well, it's not one that I'm familiar with. It's like New York Neighborhood Theater Company or something like that. It's not the Actors Studio or Lee Strasberg or whatever. Yeah, but I always enjoy him. And he was the only one who bothered trying to do an accent. Well, consistently tried to do an accent. McMillan, who plays the constable.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
Even the guy playing the asshole husband, I thought did a good job with the character.
Oh yeah, I think they all did pretty good.
Barbara Babcop. Barbara Badcop. As Bonnie Bedelia's mom.
Oh yeah.
I like the guy who played the school teacher. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Who else is there?
Bonnie Bedelia, and then there's
She was all right.
then there
she didn't do anything for me.
and there's that lady that was from Dr. Quim, and then
That's Barbara Babcock.
I thought that was Mr. Feeney's wife plays what?
I don't know who Mr. Feeney's wife is.
That's her. No, like, IRL. Like Mr. Feeney.
Who's Mr. Feeney?
From the old guy that was Kit. Boy Meets World, the old guy that played Kit in the Knight Rider. What?
Say what?
The old guy from Boy Meets World. The teacher.
I don't.
The old guy. Okay, that's fine. Is the same guy that played Kit in Knight Rider. The voice of Kit. The
voice of Kit was the guy from Seen Elsewhere with the mustache.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Is that Mr. Feeney?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I've never seen St. Elsewhere, so I'm going to Google it.
I've never seen Boy Meets World.
Yeah, but I've watched TikToks of scenes from it with you watching over my shoulder at least once.
OMG.
Okay?
So
St. Els.
So I still don't know who you're talking about in Salem's Lot.
Hold
We're
on.
talking about a guy who's not in the movie.
No, yeah. Hold on.
Fellas?
Yeah, William Daniels.
Okay.
Yeah. He is the husband of the girl that plays Bedelia's mom.
Barbara Babcock.
This is what I'm saying. Dr. Quim was not it was not her. Dr. Quim, the girl that was in Dr. Quim is the mother of the kid that looks like you. What? I'm saying everything normal. The one that was in Dr. Quim
Okay.
played the character of the mother
In
of
this
the
movie?
boy, yes, that you didn't like because he looks like you.
Okay.
And yesterday, during the movie, last night, you said, oh, that's who you were talking about. So maybe you're getting them confused.
Yeah. What is Norton?
Norton? What is Norton?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right about who Barbara Babcock is. I am incorrect. Bedelia's character's mom was played by Bonnie Bartlett.
Ah.
So sorry.
Barbara Badcop is also the mom of Joe and Brian Hackett, which takes us back to Tim Daly, where I always try to go back to. But Bonnie Bartlett and William Daniels or whatever, they're married IRL. That's what I was saying.
Gotcha.
Everything that I said was right and normal. And
I believe
said it
you.
normal.
I just could not follow. Oh, shit. Bonnie Bartlett grew up in Moline, Illinois.
Oh, shit.
Sorry. Glad you got out. Okay, so the character actors, all great.
Great.
Many faces that you'll recognize if you're around our age, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agent David Old Soul was the original Hutch from Starsky and Hutch, which was not a show, surprisingly, not a show I grew up with.
Interesting.
It wasn't in reruns, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, the Mod Squad.
Oh, I never saw the Mod Squad.
These are things that got referenced a lot by the 90s as 70s institutions that I never really...
Yeah. I know I'd seen some of Starsky and Hutch.
Because there was that remake in the 90s, too. There was a film.
It was the 90s? I thought it was...
Was it early aughts?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I thought it was Owen Wilson and...
Yeah.
That guy, Ben Stiller, that I hate. I didn't want to not finish.
That guy that I hate.
It's not fair. I don't hate him. I just hate the things that he does.
It says the way he behaves. And I really enjoyed the effects of the floating vampire at the window.
Oh,
effects.
I loved it. Yeah.
I'm a sucker. I said this last night. I'm a sucker for smoke effects, especially when they're played backwards and everything. There was a lot of great use.
Oh yeah.
Fairly subtle use of playing things backwards.
Yeah.
I thought the great James Mason's wife.
Yeah.
When she's turned.
Yeah.
And they have that fight. All her stuff looks backwards. And
oh, nice.
I think every time
it was a real Tenet.
Yeah. Oh, and pat myself on the back. 2 seconds into the film, I'm like, this looks like Ferndale or wherever they shot Outbreak. It was shot in Ferndale, California, where they shot Outbreak.
Which also had the kid that you hate.
Right.
Symmetry, man. Tenet. It's all connected.
Not for nothing, the kid's into horror.
Yeah.
So weird that he and the adult Stephen King cipher.
Little Stephen Krim and old Stephen Krim get together and fight vampires.
Let me find that actor's name. Lance Kerwin.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah. And Julie Cobb is the, they call her Boom Boom Sawyer or whatever.
Oh, my God.
Elisha Cook Jr. as Weasel. That's another guy that I'm like, oh, yeah, he was in a lot of stuff that I saw as a kid. I just watched, he was in, I believe, The Haunted Palace.
Nice.
Which is, I've been on a bender of watching Vincent Price, Roger Corman movies.
Yeah.
From like the late 60s and early 70s. He's in one of them.
Yeah.
One of the ones that's like, a lot of them are based on Poe, very roughly. And that one has a lot of Lovecraft in it as well.
Yeah, nice.
This is not a detractor, really, but I found Barlow's Nosferatu to be pretty goofy.
Interesting.
I love the fucking scene when hell breaks loose and then he suddenly just bursts through the kitchen window.
Yeah, that was great.
He's just like a lump on the floor. I kind of love that because I like the idea that he's like not suave, that it took everything he had to throw himself through the window.
Yeah.
And then he has to take a hostage. That's kind of great now that I think about it. Like, he's not all powerful. I mean, sure, he's got, I don't know, he can make dishes break or whatever.
Yeah.
But James Mason has to come in and, like, do his negotiating for him.
Yeah.
What would you give for this miserable boy?
What do you ask?
What would you give to reprieve him this night to save him for another night?
What do you want?
The master wants you. Throw away your cross, face the master, your faith against his faith. Could you do that? Is your faith enough?
Oh, and the fucking set, once they finally go in the Marsden house.
Oh my God, that shit was crazy.
I love how it looks simultaneously dusty and moist.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
It looked
gross.
like dusty moss.
It was full of
And then there was all the
yeah.
taxidermy shit.
Yeah, there was all the taxidermy shit, but yeah, it had like moss and mold looking, like growing everywhere. But it was like, it looked like, well, the implication that like the ceiling was coming down in spots, so it was like had like chunks of like drywall over the ground, all over the ground.
I took that as stuffing from the taxidermy.
Oh,
But I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe you're right.
I couldn't tell, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. I
Right,
was like,
right.
what?
Could be
is it?
anything.
But all the walls looked
moist.
wet.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so, and I was like, this is genuinely, like, you know, when, you know, there's like a scary house, like an old house that you walk in. A lot of times it's like, oh man, you know, if you just pulled those curtains down and just swept it, it'd be pretty
cobwebs.
badass. Yeah, it'd be pretty badass. But like, this was genuinely, I'm like, if I
Rotten.
went in there, I would be scared. Just even if there were no monsters, I'd be like, I'm gonna get fucking
Tuberculosis.
yeah. Something's going to attack the inside of my lungs if I stay in
sure.
here. So that was like, I thought that was a great way to like, yeah, because I feel like a lot of times the way places look are sort of secondary in a way, like they're dressing, but not always like thought out of like what would actually make a house look scary, you know, like what's actually creepy about a house. And I feel like this did it in a way that I'd never seen it done elsewhere.
Same. Yeah. Very impressive in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being impressed in a similar way, but not, it was done differently. In the Dark Half.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one I'd like to rewatch.
Yeah. George Romero.
Oh, shit.
And
really?
with, is it Timothy Hutton?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess George Romero was going to
do this one, but he didn't think he'd be able
to. Because they were going to make a theatrical release was the initial proposition. And they said, oh, everybody's doing vampire movies right now.
So let's do a TV one.
Yeah. Because it was Herzog's Nosferatu also was 79, and I forget what the other one was. Oh, Tommyknockers. We watched the Tommyknockers too.
Yeah, we watched the Tommyknockers.
Maybe next year we do well, at some point, if we keep doing Nosferatu Novembers, I want to redo the Night Flyer.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think I hadn't prepared myself for a 3 hour, nearly 3 hour thing is probably my main critique of this movie.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be one that I'm like going back to over and over. No. But yeah.
It's got some Atmo.
For sure.
Mostly, for me, it's mostly his jeans and Boom Boom's. You said it was velvet. I still think it's satin.
No, it was definitely not satin. His shorts were satin.
Huh?
His shorts?
His shorts?
Fred Willard's shorts? Those were satin.
Yeah, hers looked like the same to me.
No, they had that like crushed velvet kind of.
All right. But that outfit, amazing.
Love it. Yeah. And I like the performance of I don't remember what her name is, but his landlady or whatever.
Yes.
I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
She was great.
Weasel's ex.
Yeah.
Not a big role, but she was great.
Yeah.
I like that.
And they did a great job of getting someone tall. Because like they made a big deal about how short he was compared to her, but she was actually tall. Like I hate when they say shit and then like it doesn't make any visual sense.
Marie Windsor, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all redheads.
Who?
Ain't they? Or at least in the movie. Her.
Well, yeah.
Boom Boom.
Yeah.
Bedelia.
I don't know if Bedelia is redheaded. I think it's more of a like light brown.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really tell you much about the plot because what I think is funny, I kept making jokes anytime the constable was like, "You're not planning on leaving Salem's Lot, are you?" And everybody's like, "No." And he's like, "Don't leave."
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to. You better not fucking leave. Oh,
and then
James Mason. Did we?
Yeah.
Well, we've only barely referred to the fact that James
Yeah.
Mason is in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
He died 5 years later.
Wow.
Coincidence?
No.
The Marston house really is cursed.
True.
So that, and I also think it's funny that our main guy just keeps being like, "Do you think it's possible for a house to be evil?" And everybody's like, "I don't know. I've seen weird ass trees."
Yeah.
Both things are funny.
Yeah.
Both sides of that is like he just keeps saying it. It's not really explored in the plot.
I
mean,
know,
except
yeah,
that it's like, oh, it attracts evil people to it.
Yeah.
Who do bad things in the
Right.
house.
Right. Yeah.
Except for, I mean, Barlow's 100, who knows how old
Yeah.
vampire who
Yeah.
just, and then
Right.
at the last minute they're like, oh, I guess he has been searching for a
But
place
he
like
says-
Salem's Lot because it's isolated.
But he
What?
says that boys were disappearing when he was young.
Right.
And he's like, they always suspected so and so, but it
Right.
never. But then I'm like,
That never goes anywhere.
what? Yeah. And then the two boys, and I was like, oh,
It's
but
happening
then
again.
But then no, it's just everyone in the town.
It's just easy pickings.
Right.
Just easy pickings for James Mason to grab a
Yeah.
little boy in the woods to take to He Master.
In a garbage bag.
Oh, God, when he undoes it,
I love how he's just like
he's unwrapping a deli sandwich.
so it comes off so easy. I'm like, that's crazy. It's
I
crazy
love-
that your old man hands can't tape anything, but you could carry a fucking corpse. Like that shit was nuts.
The amount of time that was spent on them driving back the crate.
See, this is what you kept being like, why are we seeing this? Why do we? And I'm like, because the whole implication is that.
No, I was pissed at how we watched in real time the mechanical lift on the back of the truck, and it's noisy as fuck. So it's just like,
Barely, not in real time. We did not see that in real time. It was literally like 30 seconds of watching it. You just didn't like it. You're like, oh my God. And it like.
It was painful. It hurt my autism. And the earballs. But it was also funny how long. That's a relatively small part of the plot, right? But we get so much of their drive back, and the one guy Ed Tibbett, just being like, "It's moving," and the other guy being like, "Shut the fuck up, let me drive, dude. It's moving."
But he keeps saying it's the road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm with you.
Yep. And then they chuck it in the basement and
Oh my God.
run off
Also, I'm like, what were the padlocks for?
to keep Barlow inside.
But then why
He might stray. He might roam.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some holes.
But a whole lot of
I do love it that the constable is just like, later.
Yeah.
Peace out.
He's telling everyone not to run away, and it's
Also,
'cause he's
Boom
gonna do it.
Boom's husband
Yeah.
smacks her around and then they move.
Yeah. Hot.
That's all I got. You could do worse.
Yeah, you could. Even with a Stephen Krim, you could do a lot worse.
Again, we keep watching these. This is the second time we're doing this whole last month on vampires. I still don't know what I think about vampires. It's not
I
necessarily.
like them a lot. Oh, that reminds me that someone was talking about appropriation, and I can't remember. Like someone was like saying they're tired of seeing white people do XYZ, but I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was. And then someone
examining their zipper.
No, and then someone was like, okay, but they're like, if that's how you feel, then I don't want to see any like I can't remember if they said like black or if they said like if they actually just went as far as saying POCs as vampires, since it originates in like Eastern Europe, so it's appropriative to imply that a vampire wouldn't be white.
Was that a serious argument?
I was like, what the fucking shit? What? They're like, it's Eastern European, so you can't. If you're not white, you can't be a vampire. Or without it being appropriative. And I'm like, that's...
White people are bloodsuckers.
But like they're saying that's where it originated, like that's where the tales originated. And I'm like, that's so stupid.
Also, I'm sure there's no other similar myth
anywhere else ever.
Non-European folklore.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I know.
There's a whole genre apparently of like
but like I love how like the reason why they believed in vampires was because like of how like dead bodies bloated after they died. So they like there was like this theory that they get up and like drain people's blood at night, and that's how they get bloated because it's with blood.
Just
right.
full of blood.
Right. And like that's where like apparently that's like where the story originated. And I'm like, no wonder other people didn't have these stories, because they like, you know, don't leave people out to fucking bloat. Like, how long does it take you to fucking bury someone after they're dead for them to bloat so purple that you're like, oh, clearly they're getting up at night and drinking blood.
I can't imagine any other explanation.
Fuck? Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
That's fair.
I know. What do you want to say?
I don't got a quip.
You have a pip?
Oh boy.
Would you like a sip? Would you Would you like a sip? All right, fine.
What?
I said, you said I don't have a quip. I said, do you have a pip? And then you said, oh boy. And I said, would you like a sip? Like, the fact that you don't even try to understand me when I'm stoned and being fucking hilarious is like, I don't even know you.
Honestly, the thing that threw me off was your little motion that you're doing. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with that.
Oh, I think we both know what you're supposed to do.
Chris Farley.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Anyway, I didn't push stop. Okay. What?
See ya.
Oh.
Bye-bye. Good night. Just some working class small dudes